In this video, we will take you step by step through the setup of the Mastercut 2500 and show you how to assemble your machines on the table. Basic setup. First, open the box using a suitable knife and remove the individual parts. Along with the Mastercut, the box contains a push stick, a safety shield, a safety switch, 3 split inserts, one of which is already fitted, a guide rail, an angle stop, a parallel stop and 4 bags of accessories. In addition, you will need a rule, a 10mm spanner, a knife and a Phillips screwdriver. Setting up the table. To set up the table, place it on a clean surface. Release the 2 eccentric levers and fold out the right pair of legs as far as they will go. Close the eccentric levers again. Do the same for the left pair of legs. Release the eccentric levers, fold out the left pair of legs as far as they will go and secure them again. For optimal stability, align the leg using the height adjuster. Assembling the safety switch. For the following assembly steps of the basic setup, you only need parts from accessories bag 2. The safety switch, 2 screws, 2 nuts, and 2 washers. Mount the safety switch on the bore holes provided on the machine table. Place the safety switch behind the bore holes so that the mounting eyes and the screw holes of the table line up. Now guide the screws through the openings so that the safety switch is held by the screws. Next add the washers, then turn the nuts on the thread. Finally, tighten the screws. The basic setup of your Mastercut 2500 is thus complete. In the next step, you can set it up for your machine. Assembling the safety shield. To assemble the safety shield, you need the safety shield holder, a handle screw and 2 suitable screws. First, push the safety shield holder into the safety shield and secure it with the smallest screw. Secure the handle screw with the appropriate screw. Now you can push the safety shield with the holder into the guide on the front face of the table. Position the safety shield over the saw gap so that it covers the front saw gap area. Assembling the angle stop or the parallel stop. Decide whether you want to work with the parallel or angle stop. For both variants, you will need the short aluminium rail. To assemble the angle stop, you need the angle stop, 2 screws, 2 nuts, 2 washers, and the short aluminium rail. Push the angle stop into the guide slot of the table. Put the washers on the screws and then place these in the openings provided on the angle stop. Then tighten the nuts. Push the short rail onto the angle stop and tighten the screws. Now bring the rail into the desired position and secure it with the handle screw. To assemble the parallel stop, you need the short and the long aluminium rails, 4 screws, 2 washers, 2 nuts and 2 eccentric levers. Start by mounting the parallel stop loosely. To do this, put a screw in the first eccentric lever and secure loosely with the nut. Repeat the same procedure for the second lever. Now fit the guide for the angle stop on the parallel stop. Secure both screws with the washers and nuts to the parallel stop. The nuts serve as sliders, on which you can now slide the small aluminium rail. Tighten both screws. Insert the parallel stop into the guide on the table with the eccentric levers open. Align them so that they are parallel and close the eccentric levers. Assembling the angle stop for the guide rail. For this step you will need the aluminium bar, a screw, a nut and a plastic sleeve. Place the nut in the guide for the aluminium bar. Now put the screw with the sleeve under the rail. Secure it to the inside nut and tighten. Assembling the stop guide. To do this you need a handle screw with suitable washer, a plastic cradle, a small nut, a large nut, a metal slider with suitable screw and washer. Place the washer in the plastic cradle. Secure the handle screw to the small nut firmly. Then put the large nut into the opening provided in front of the handle screw. Now insert the metal slider onto the screw and place a washer on top. Screw in the screw until it is flush with the face of the plastic cradle. Secure the top slide with the hexagonal key. Assembling the stop lever. To do this you need 2 plastic bodies, a handle with a screw and a suitable washer. Place the washer in plastic body 2.29. Put plastic body 2.30 underneath and connect the parts from underneath with the screw. Turn the handle on the projecting thread of the screw. Push the stop slide into the guide slot of the aluminium bar. Insert the plastic sleeve, which you previously fitted to the other end of the aluminium bar, into the 20mm borehole of the table. Push the stop lever into the guide slot in the table plate of the Mastercut 2500. Now you can secure the rail in the desired position. To do this, simply tighten the handle screw of the stop lever. Securing the screw hooks. For this step you will need 3 hook screws with 6 suitable nuts and 3 washers. Screw one nut onto the thread of each hook screw. Place a washer on top and close it off with another nut. Do this for all 3 hook screws. Using the lower nut, push the hook into the guide rail and secure it in the desired position. Accessories, such as the push stick, can now be suspended from these hooks. Attaching the switch clamp. For this, you need the switch clamp and the fastening cord. Attach the cord to the switch clamp. Use the eyelet provided. Tie the other end of the cord to the Mastercut 2500. Adjusting the machine plate. The machine plate should always sit flush with the table plate. Adjustments may be needed depending on the weight of the installed machine. Remove the split insert from the machine plate. To do this, simply pull the recessed grip gently upwards and back. Now you can remove the machine plate. Adjust the height using the setting screws. Finally, put the plate back in. Setting up for use as a circular saw bench. There are 2 different machine lines: circular hand saws with an integrated riving knife and circular hand saws without an integrated riving knife. Circular hand saws without an integrated riving knife can only be used in the Mastercut 2500 with the optionally available riving knife. Setting up for use as a circular saw bench with integrated riving knife. The circular saw bench is secured to the underside of the machine plate. For this, you must remove the plate. Insert the split insert again for assembly. Use the pre-assembled split insert with the narrow slot. Now turn the plate over and put it back in. Open the safety shield and place the circular handsaw on the machine plate. The permissible dimensions for the circular handsaws are set out in the manual. Move the saw blade downwards as far as it will go. In Accessories Bag 1, you will find a sufficient selection of securing accessories for the various machine types. The number of fastening points depends on the size of the base plate of your circular handsaw. There must be at least 4 connections on the long sides. In addition, 2 end stops are also recommended. If your circular handsaw has a particularly wide base plate, such that no further screws can be pushed into the channels on the machine plate on the motor side, use the long limit stops to secure the machine. Place the limit stop on the screw and push the screw head into the guide slot. Now place the washer and the spring washer on top. Turn the nut on the thread so that the limit stop is loosely attached. Using the same method, tighten all 4 screws. Work in precisely the same way for the short screws so that their surfaces are in full contact with the machine base plate. Align the machine parallel to the machine plate using the rule. The distance between the outside edge of the machine plate and the saw blade must be 93 mm. Warning: align the saw blade such that it is parallel to the machine plate and not to the base plate of the circular handsaw. With the cutting depth extended fully, check the distance between the foremost tooth of the saw blade and the front edge of the split insert. The distance should be less than 20 mm. Now tighten the limit stops using a 10 mm spanner. After aligning correctly, secure the machine by the long sides with the 4 clamping brackets. In addition, you need 4 washers and 4 wing nuts. Place the clamping bracket on the screw, insert the washer. Position the board tight against the stopper and secure it with the wing nut. Do the same on both sides for all side limit stops. Now you can remove the plate again. Remove the split insert and insert the machine plate, with the work surface facing upwards into the table. Push the saw blade protection back and reinsert the split insert. Attach the safety shield. Now you can move the saw blade upwards. Insert the plug of the machine into the safety switch and attach the switch clamp. Setting up for use as a circular saw bench with a circular handsaw that does not have an integrated riving knife. Circular handsaws without integrated riving knives must only be used with a suitable riving knife. Remove the split insert and the plate. Insert the split insert again for assembly. Use the pre-assembled split insert with the narrow slot. Fit the locating bolt for the riving knife loosely with the fastening screw and push this into the machine plate until the locating slot is visible. Now insert the riving knife and tighten the screw. Turn the plate over and position it such that the saw blade has room underneath. Place the circular handsaw on the plate and align it. The circular saw blade must be centered in relation to the riving knife. Set the riving knife using the setting gauge such that the distance to the saw blade is 5 mm maximum. Now secure the circular handsaw to the plate. Detailed instructions are provided in the section Setting up for use as a circular saw bench with integrated riving knife. Secure the circular handsaw by tightening the wing nuts. Now turn the plate over. Remove the riving knife. Next, remove the split insert so that the machine plate can be reinserted back into the table. Push the safety shield back and reinsert the split insert. Now refit the riving knife by pushing the bolt into the plate and inserting the riving knife into the locating slot. Secure the riving knife using the hexagonal key supplied. Now you can remove the setting gauge. Once the safety shield is installed, your master cut is ready for use. Set up for use as a guided circular saw. To secure the guide rail, you need 2 plastic clamp holders, 2 metal clamps and the appropriate split insert. Use the split insert with the broad slot. If in doubt, note the pictogram. Insert the split insert. This split insert ensures that the machine's safety shield can close. Insert the clamp holders into the openings provided on the long sides of the table. Position your workpiece on the table. Now set up the guide rail and align it roughly to the cutting edge. Secure the rail with the metal clamps. To do this, push the slider into the slot on the underside of the guide rail. Using the screw, you can set the position to the thickness of the workpiece and secure the guide rail. Do the same on the other side of the table. Now the guide rail is aligned precisely with what will be the cutting edge. Push the machine plate onto the guide rail. Warning: the saw blade of the circular handsaw may not project more than 4 mm from the workpiece, otherwise you will saw into the table plate. To ensure that the rubber lip can be adjusted optimally to your saw at a later point, it has a small excess. On first use, trim this deliberately along its entire length. The guided circular saw is now ready for use. Set up for use as a jigsaw table. To secure, you will need 4 screws, 4 limit stops, 4 washers, 4 spring washers, 4 nuts, 4 clamping brackets, 4 large washers and 4 wing nuts. Remove the machine plate from the Mastercut 2500. Use the split insert with the rectangular opening for jigsaws. If in doubt, note the pictogram. Turn the plate over. Align the jigsaw on the machine plate. The saw blade must be centered in the saw opening. Now secure the base plate of the jigsaw with the screws, limit stops, clamping brackets, washers, spring washers and wing nuts on all 4 sides to the machine plate of the Mastercut. Place the limit stop on the screw and first insert a small washer, followed by a spring washer. Then screw the nut onto the thread. Guide the head of the screw into the aluminium channel and push the limit stop tight against the base plate of the jigsaw. Ensure that the limit stop makes contact and secure it by turning the nut firmly. Tighten the nuts further with the 10 mm wrench. Now place the clamping bracket on top. Add the large washer and turn the wing nut onto the thread. Tighten and the fitting is secure. Do the same for all 4 fastening points. Now turn the plate around and insert it in the table plate. Allow the 4 holders to latch it into place. Now attach the safety shield. And insert the plug into the safety switch. With the switch clamp, make the jigsaw ready for use. Now you can turn the saw on and off via the switch. Setting up for use as a stationary mitre saw. The scope of supply includes sufficient mounting materials for the secure assembly of your mitre saw. Use 2 screws at least, as shown in our example. Secure these with 2 small washers, 2 large washers and 2 nuts. The table plate has appropriate slots for use as a stationary mitre saw bench. Place the machine in the centre of the table with the mounting bores aligned over the slots. Secure the machine now using at least 2 screws, 4 washers and 2 nuts. Insert the screw and the small washer from above through the mounting hole and the table plate. Fasten the screw from underneath with the large washer and the nut. If the mounting hole of your saw does not fit on the bore hole of the table, the mitre saw may not be used. Now connect the machine to the power supply. Setting up for use as a milling table. Using the optionally available parallel milling guide, you can turn the Mastercut 2500 into a real milling table. Insert the split insert with the suitable split ring. Select these in accordance with the diameter of the router you are using. The diameter may not exceed 27 mm. Now turn the plate over and place the router on top. Make sure that the router bit is seated centrally in the insert ring. The machine itself does not have to be aligned in parallel. To secure, you will need 4 screws, 4 limit stops, 4 washers, 4 spring washers, 4 nuts, 4 clamping brackets, 4 large washers, and 4 wing nuts. Place the limit stop on the screw and first insert a small washer, followed by a spring washer. Then screw the nut onto the thread. Now guide the head of the screw into the aluminium channel and push the limit stop tight against the base plate of the milling machine. Ensure that the limit stop makes contact and secure it, turning the nut firmly. Tighten the nuts further with the 10 mm spanner. Now place the clamping bracket on top, add the large washer and turn the wing nut onto the thread. Tighten and the fitting is secure. Secure the milling machine on all 4 sides onto the machine plate. Then install the machine plate with the fixed mounted router. Attach the milling guide. Note, do not set the milling depth until after the milling guide is attached. Insert the milling guide into both guide slots on the table plate and push it through to the edge of the split insert. Align it precisely and fix the position using the large handle screws. Now you can set the desired milling depth on your machine. Finally, insert the plug into the safety switch. If your machine does not have a continuous run option, use the switch clamp. The Mastercut 2500 is now ready for use. You will find further useful information in the manual and in this user video. Always observe the manufacturer's safety information. You can contact our technical support and spare parts service at www.wolfcraft.com.